I forced myself to turn away, breaking that connection with everything I had left. The pressure eased slightly, but not completely this time. It lingered, faint but persistent, like something had already rooted itself deeper than I realized. I started walking along the edge of the space, keeping my distance, refusing to look back no matter how strong the urge became. Each step echoed softly against the stone, the sound returning in a way it hadn't before, as if the silence itself had shifted its rules. But the further I moved, the stronger that presence became. It didn't make sense. I was creating distance, putting space between myself and the center, but it didn't feel like I was getting away. It felt like it was following. Not physically, not in a way I could see, but in a way I could feel. And then I noticed something that made my entire body go still. My shadow was wrong. It stretched too far, too sharply, pulling toward the center, even though the light was behind me. I didn't move. I didn't breathe, but my shadow did. Slowly, unnaturally, it began to shift forward on its own, inching across the ground as if something unseen was pulling it closer to that glow. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. My shadow kept stretching forward, dragging itself across the stone like it had weight, like it belonged to something else now. Every instinct told me to run, to turn and get as far away from that center as possible, but something deeper held me in place. Not fear, recognition. Like a part of me already understood what was happening, even if I didn't want to admit it. Slowly, I lifted my head. I didn't want to look at the light again, but I didn't have a choice anymore. The moment my eyes met that glow, it exploded in intensity. Not outward into the room, not spreading across the pillars or the floor, but inward, collapsing into a single, focused point that felt like it was piercing straight through me. My chest tightened instantly, my breath locking in my throat as something invisible gripped me from the inside. For a split second, everything around me blurred, the pillars bending, the ground warping, reality itself folding toward that center. And inside the light, I saw it. Not clearly, not fully, but enough to understand that it was there. Something tall, something impossibly thin, something that didn't belong in any place that could exist. It wasn't standing in the light. It was the reason the light existed at all. I stumbled back, tearing my eyes away as the pressure snapped instantly, like a grip releasing without warning. Air rushed back into my lungs, sharp and painful, like I'd been holding my breath for far too long. My vision cleared slowly, the room settling back into place, the pillars straightening, the ground becoming solid again beneath my feet. But something had changed. I could feel it, deep and undeniable. That brief moment of connection had done something. Not to the space. To me. I didn't need to look at the light to know it was still there, still burning, still focused. I could feel it now, like a presence embedded behind my eyes, watching through me instead of at me. And then the realization hit, cold and absolute. That thing isn't trapped in that center. It doesn't need to move. It doesn't need to chase. It reaches through attention, through awareness, through the simple act of being seen. Every time you look at it, you give it more space inside you, more room to exist. I turned away slowly, forcing my body to move even though every part of me resisted. Because now I understood something worse than being watched. I understood that I had already been touched. I started walking again, faster this time, not quite running, but no longer pretending I could stay calm. The sound of my footsteps echoed louder now, sharper, bouncing unnaturally off the stone like the room itself was amplifying every movement I made. The silence was gone, replaced by something heavier, something that felt like it was closing in from every direction without actually moving. I kept my eyes forward, refusing to look back, refusing to give that light another chance to pull me in. But the further I went, the more wrong everything felt. The pillars weren't the same. I couldn't explain it at first, couldn't pinpoint exactly what had changed, but something about them felt off. Their shapes, their surfaces, the way they stood in uneven rows. And then I noticed it. One of them wasn't rough like stone should be. It was smoother, too smooth. And as I passed it, I caught something out of the corner of my eye that made my stomach drop instantly. A curve, a shape, something that didn't belong in rock. I stopped before I could think, turning slowly, already knowing I didn't want to see what was there. It was a face, not carved, not placed there by design. It was pressed into the surface, distorted, stretched, like something had been forced into the stone while it was still alive. The mouth was open wide, frozen in a scream that would never be heard. The eyes were shut tight, or maybe gone completely, I couldn't tell, and I didn't want to look long enough to find out. My chest tightened as I stepped back, my mind racing to reject what I was seeing, to force it into something logical, something that made sense. But it didn't, because deep down, I already knew the truth. Those weren't pillars. Not all of them. Some of them used to be people. People who stood exactly where I was standing. People who looked exactly where I had looked. People who gave that light just enough attention for it to take everything else. I turned away quickly, my heart pounding harder now, my breathing uneven, panic finally breaking through whatever control I thought I had. Because this place wasn't just reacting, it was collecting. And the longer you stayed, the more it took. The light flared again behind me, stronger than ever. And this time I didn't need to turn to know what was happening. I could feel it clearly now, burning at the edge of my thoughts, pressing deeper, pushing further inside. And then it spoke. Not in words, not in sound, but in something far worse. A thought that wasn't mine, sliding into place like it had always been there. You see me now. I froze completely, every part of me locking in place as that presence settled deeper into my mind. I understood then that it didn't need me to look anymore. It already had what it wanted. I closed my eyes, but it didn't matter. The light was still there, bright and clear, not in front of me, but inside my head, glowing stronger with every second. And the worst part wasn't the fear, or the realization, or even the certainty that I wasn't leaving this place the same way I entered. It was the final thought that settled in, quiet and undeniable. The light was never guiding anyone. It was marking them. And now that you've seen it, now that you understand it, now that it's inside your thoughts too, it knows you're here.